Hi, I'm Todd Robinson, and I am the Executive Director of Next Step Recovery Ministries. And you might say, well, what is Next Step Recovery Ministries, Todd? Well, Next Step is a program for men. It's a long term, minimum of 12-month recovery program for men. Most of our men are coming out of addiction, jail, prison, on some type of supervisory status, probation, or parole, and have had a life of bad decisions. They've had a life of what we would consider, or many would consider, failures. They've had a life of just hard times, right? And nobody is here to argue to say they're a victim of these things. They have, and will admit, they have chosen these things. They have chosen to use drugs. They have chosen to enter into bad relationships, primarily with women. They have chosen to enter into bad friendship relationships. They have chosen to avoid the people that would be the best for them. They have chosen those things. But with that said, even though they have chosen those things, you and I have also chosen some very bad things, have made some very bad decisions in our life. And I'm so glad that I had somebody come along beside me when I made some very bad, poor decisions in my life that helped me. And sometimes those decisions have different consequences along the line. And the life of addiction, prison, jail has consequences that come along with that end up leading a person, a man, into further down that dark, dark hole of life that they have chosen. And so Next Step helps these men come out of that life. And it's not an easy task. We're tasked with changing the way they think, with changing the way they see themselves, with changing the way they see the world. We have to give them a new filter on life, a new lens with which to look through for life. And most of these men are anywhere from 20 to 30 to 40 to 50, even 60 years old. And to now come in and try to change that filter, to change that lens is very, very difficult. I say there's a few things. If we could say, what are the villains in this story? Every great story has a villain, right? And the villains that we face, that these men face, are addiction, homelessness, joblessness, broken relationships, broken families, lack of skills, work skills. Those are the villains in this story, right? And in every good story, the villain must be confronted by a person. And the person that must confront the villain is the man himself. But then that man himself also needs somebody to come along beside him and guide him to the right solution. And that's what Next Step does. We're simply a guide. We're a guide to help these men, to help them face these villains of addiction, the villains of homelessness, the villain of brokenness, the villain of no job skills or never had a job. I can't tell you the number of men that have come to our program that have never operated a weed eater. That's our task. Our task is not to fix them. Our task is to guide them. And we're asking for your partnership. We have a new program that we call the WAYMAKER program. And that guide, that's us, Next Step. We're the guide. We play that waymaker role. And we also need you. You're part of the story. You're part of the hero. Great stories have heroes. And in the heroic roles that are played are also played by you. We need you to be a waymaker with us. And what we're asking you to do is simply partner with us. We're looking for at least 50 new financial partners by the end of 2024. We're asking that 50 people step up and commit $100 a month to Next Step for the next 2 years. $100 a month out of your pocket to Next Step. 50 people, that's all we're asking for. And then we'll do this again next year. We'll ask for 50 more people and 50 more people. Our goal is to raise our financial support to a level that we can help more men, we can guide more men, that we can be a waymaker for more men. And we're asking you to be a hero in this story. Come along beside us to help more men have success and overcome these villains, these mean people, if you could say, if we could label these these things of addiction and homelessness, and financial brokenness, the villains that they face, if you could come along beside us and help us guide them to be the hero over these villains. We thank you so much, and we're hoping and praying that you can join us as a waymaker.